welcome to my channel once again. And if today is your first time, consider subscribing, and also don't forget to share the channel. Alright, so if you are interested in data analytics and programming, then this channel is the right channel for you. Without wasting my time, let's go straight into the classroom. Okay, so in this section, we are going to talk about casualties by road type. Okay, so to do that, we will create a pivot table. We will create another pivot table for casualties by road type. So you just select any of the cells, then click on insert, select pivot table, then make sure that new worksheet is selected. Right, then you click on OK. So now we have our pivot area here, then the pivot fields which contains the various columns in the data set. So we need casualties, so number of casualties, then the road type. So you select road type, and this is what we have now. But I want to convert these values into I want to use K instead of the full value. I want to change how it looks. So to do that, I'll select all the amounts, right click on it and choose format cell. Then I come to custom, then in general or the type, I click on general and delete it. Then I type 0.0 comma into quotes capital K. Right, so you see that the values are converted to this format. So now I can insert my pivot chart. So click on pivot chart. In this chart we will use the bar chart. So double click on bar chart, then double click on the chart to insert it. Now we are going to do a few cleaning on the chart, but before that I want to let me hide the blank column because we don't need it. Okay, right, so now I'll just right click on the chart, then I'll right click on the button and hide all button fields. Okay, then also I want to get rid of the grid lines, so I'll just click on one of them, right click and delete. Also I don't want this label here, so I right click on it and delete it. I don't want this legend also, so right click and delete. Then I'll change the title to casualties by road type. Okay, then I want to also introduce data labels. So I'll select, or I'll check on data labels. Right, so now I'll right click again. I want to sort it by ascending order or from the highest cell. So I'll just select it, right click. Okay, so I chose smallest to largest rather. Now I'll make a copy of this, come to my dashboard, then I will insert a shape. So I'll insert this shape, change the color to black, then paste the chart on it. Let me resize it to fit into the box. Okay, I'll right click on the box on the chart and choose format chart area to open the format chart area tools. Then I choose no fill because I don't want any fill. Then the border lines too, I'll choose no fill. I come to text options and change it to white. Okay, then also I want to change the bar colors too. So you just click on the bar, come to bar, no color fill. Okay, then come here, color. I want gradient color, so I'll choose gradient from this option. Then let me choose a gradient for it. Okay, so I'll choose this gradient type. No, let me choose another one. Okay, no, let me choose. Okay, I want this gradient type. All right, let me expand it a bit. I want to expand the box a bit. Okay, then let me position the chart on it. Okay, so I think it's okay for now. Right. Okay. Okay, so in this section we are going to talk about the casualties by location. Okay, so to do that, I'll just make a copy of this pivot table and paste it here. Then double click on any of the cells to undo or to remove the selected fields. Okay, so I'll come here and we want to plot casualties by area. So we have in our data set, we have urban and rural area. So I'll remove road type and choose urban or rural area. Okay, so this is what we have now. And now in this KPI we will use donut chart. So I'll select any of the values, come to pivot table, analyze, then pivot charts, and I choose pie from here and donuts. So I'll double click on it to insert in our pivot table. Okay, so I'll resize it and edit it small. So first of all, I'll get rid of the buttons. Then I'll make the title Casualties by Location. Then I'll also add data labels. Then the legends, I'll put it on top. Data labels, let me make it Okay, so you click on the arrow here, then you choose more options, because I want to use the value and the percentage as well. So when this format data labels pane opens, you choose percentage from here so that you have both the value and the percentage. Okay, so I'll now close this, make a copy of it, come to our dashboard. Then I also want to make a copy of the shape. Okay, let me just come to insert shapes, then I choose this box. Let me draw it here, change the color to black, push it here a little. I want to make sure that it's in line with this one. Okay, then I paste the donut chart into it. I resize it. Right click on it, choose format chart area, then the fill, I'll choose no fill and no line. Come to text options and change the text color to white. Okay, I want to also change the donut color to a gradient color. So I'll click on the donut, come to fill, go to gradients, color options, no, go to gradients. I want to choose a different gradient for it. Let me see if this is okay. No, let me choose this. No, I want to choose. Okay, I think this is okay. But you can also edit the gradient color. Okay, I'll go for this. I'll make it a bit darker. Okay, yeah, this is fine now. Right, so this is the casualties by location with the value and the percentage. Sure. Okay, so in this section we are going to tell a story by looking at the casualties by road surface. So I'll use the same pivot table. So I'll just make a copy of this one and paste it here. Let me drag it a little. Okay, so we are going to plot the casualties against the road surface. So I'll choose road surface here, but you see that we have flood, dry, frost, snow, wet. So I would like to group the similar ones. So we can group flood and wet or damp. Then we can also group frost or ice and snow. So to do that, I'll just click on flood. Then under pivot table analysis, you come to fields, items and sets, then calculated items. Right, so what I will name it as flat. Then I'll double click on flat plus wet or damp. Okay, then I'll click on OK to add a flat column to the pivot table. So now I can filter out flat and wet. Okay, I'll do same for frost and snow. So I come back here, calculated items, and let me name it as snow. Double click on snow plus, then okay, there is a name called snow, so let me make it frost. Okay, so now I'll filter out frost and snow. So we have a grouping of the data now. Okay, so the chart that we are going to use for this story is the tree map. So I'll select any of the, or I'll click on any of the values, then go to pivot table analysis, click on charts and choose tree map. But see, you can't create this chart type with data inside a pivot table. So to be able to do this, I need to copy this data out of the pivot table. So I'll just create a label here as road surface, come to the next cell, then type equal to, then I'll click on the first value, drag it down. Okay, we are not getting the correct value because this is pointing to dry. So to correct that, I'll click here, delete the dry including the quotes, and select the cell radar. Click on enter, then double drag once again. So now we have the correct values selected, but I want to format the cell, choose custom, then type this capital K, close the quotes, then OK. Right, so now we can plot the tree map with this. So I'll go back to the charts. Okay, so insert, then pivot charts. No. Okay, so this is what I want, tree map, so I'll just select it. Okay, then I'll change, or I'll introduce labels which are the values. So more data labels option, then I'll choose values and get rid of. Okay, I'll leave the category names there. Okay, let me edit the title to Casualties by road type. No, road surface. Okay, I'll simply make a copy, come to the dashboard, insert a square shape, make the color black, and paste the chart. So I'll resize the chart to fit into the shape. I'll make the background transparent by right clicking on it and choosing format chart area. So no fill for border lines. Then I'll make the text white. Okay, let me close this and resize the charts to fit into the square. All right, but I want to position this a little, so I'll hold my shift key and select the charts all together and push it to this side a little. Okay, I think it's okay. I will have to modify or push these KPIs a little. So I'll hold shift and select all. Okay, let me push it here a little. Right, so we have now created a tree map. Let me see if I can manipulate it a little. Okay, we even have the legends here, so I can get rid of the text in the boxes. Come back here, labels, more options, then uncheck the category names. Right, okay, so I want to increase the text size a little, so I'll select the text by clicking on the text, then come here and make it, choose 12 for it and make it bold. 12 is too much. I think 11 is okay. Okay, I'll do same to these ones. 11 and bold. This one too. I'll just click on the text, make it 11 and bold. I can even change the colors. I think it's not visible. Let me make it okay. The white is okay for uniformity. Okay, so now we have these beautiful charts to tell a story. All right, in this section we are going to look at we are going to tell a story using the previous year versus the current year in the data set. So we will compare casualties in 2021 versus casualties in 2022. So to do that, I'll create a new pivot table. So I select any of the cells, come to insert pivot table, make sure that new worksheet is selected, then you click on OK. So I like to name it 2021 versus 2022. Right, So I'll click in the pivot field, then come to pivots. I'll click on the pivot box, then come to pivot fields and choose casualty. So you can search from here. Then the next thing I'll look for is the year, but this time around I'll drag the year to filters. Then I will choose the month, so month, and drag it to rows. Okay, so this is what we have now. I'll filter the year by 2021. Okay, I'll make a copy of this because we will use the same data, but this time around I'll filter by 2022. Okay, so this is what we have now. Sure, get rid of the decimal places. So now outside the pivot table, I'll create another table for month, 2021 casualties, and 2022 casualties. Okay, so this will be equal to the various month. Drag it down. Okay, so now we will pick the values for the 2021 casualties, which is this. Press enter and drag it down to make it to apply to all, but then you have to change this to this. Press on enter, then double click to make it dynamic. Then we do same for 2022 casualties, equal to this. Enter, but to make it dynamic I need to remove the last bit and choose the cell, equal to this. Click on it again, then double click on this small box to apply to all. Format it, remove the decimal places. So now we have this new table that we will use to create the variations. So I'll select all, come to insert. We will use a line chart, so I'll choose the first one, and this is what we have now. So let me change the title to Casualties for 2021 versus 2022. So this kind of, we are comparing the casualties for these periods in question. Okay, let me try and edit the chart small. We don't want the grid lines, so I'll just get rid of it. Right click and delete. Then I'll choose this. I want this. Okay. All right. Then I want to introduce. No, I won't use the data labels. This is okay. So let me get rid of the. Okay. So now I'll copy this go to the dashboard. Below here, I will insert another shape. Change it to black and paste the chart. I'll resize it to fit into the box. Let me expand the box a little so that we get a clean view. Right click, choose format chart area, no fill for fill, then no borders. I will change the font color to white. Okay, I think this is okay. So now we have the casualties for 2021 versus 2022. Right. Okay, so in this section, we are going to look at the casualties by light condition. So we will create a new pivot chart. Then name it as casualty by light. Okay, or light condition. Right, so now let me close this. You choose the light condition, then the next thing that I'll choose is the number of casualties. Okay, so this is what we have. I want to convert the values to a different format, so I'll quickly do this. Okay, then also I think there are similarities here. Lighten, unknown, lights, lit. So I think I'll group all these together. So I'll select one of them, come to fields, calculated items, and I'll name it as darkness. Okay, so this will be equal to all these plus this plus, you just double click on them, plus this. Okay, so now I'll filter the rest out. We want to look at daylight versus casualties depending on daylight versus darkness. So I'll use a donut chart for this. Okay, double click on this, formatted by hiding all the buttons, putting the legends at the top, introducing data labels, more options. We want the percentage, so we can use the percentage and forget about the value. So this time around I'll use, okay, let me use the values as well. Okay, so now we have our donut chart. Let me change the title to Casualties by Lighting Condition. I'll make a copy, come to the dashboard, insert a square shape, change the color to black and paste the chart on it. Resize the chart to fit into the box area. Let me change it to transparent or no fill, and I'll change the font size, the font color or text color to white. Okay, I'll expand this a little. Okay. Okay. This is better. Then, okay. Let me try and arrange. I'll bring this down here and I'll take this up so that at least we group the items together. Okay. Click on this, hold shift and click on. Okay, so let me push this here. Resize it. Okay, I think this is better now. Right. Okay, so this is what we have for. Let me increase the font size to 11, then make it bold. Then I think I'll also give or I'll change the donut pie. I'll give it a gradient color. So format, I'll format it. Let me select the donut pie, choose gradient for it. This time around I'll use a different gradient. Okay, this is good. Let me reduce the darkness small. Right, this is okay. Okay, right, so we have a story by comparing casualties depending on daylight and darkness. Okay. Okay, so now we have visualized our data very beautifully. And the next thing that we want to do is to insert filters, which we can use to filter our records. So to do that, Excel has some filtering options. So I'll click on any of the charts then go to pivot chart analyze. Then under filter or in filter, we have in slices and timeline. So timeline is basically used for date, so I'll select accident date. Okay, so let me push it to this side and resize it. Okay, then I'll also insert slicer. So this slicer, we are going to limit it to the location. So we have urban or rural. So I'll just click on that and I select OK. Resize it and push it to this side. Okay. So now I want to get rid of the title. So I'll right click, come to slicer settings, uncheck this box, then OK. I'll close it a bit. Right. So now that we've inserted our slicer and timeline filter, also make sure that since we are working with the year, make sure that the year is selected. If you choose months, it will pull out the months, but we want the year, so make sure that the year is selected. Drag this here a little and push this. Okay, so I want to filter, I want to customize the filters to suit the color of our dashboard. So I'll just select the slicer option and go to slicer, then slicer style. So I'll drop down this, then choose new style. So whole means all the body of the slicer. I want the background to be black to suit what we have. Then I'll make a couple of changes to the buttons and the text. So selected item, I want all selected items to be green with a fill. So make sure that you choose fill. Then I want the font color to be white. Okay. So selected items with no data too, I want the same color combination. All right. Then unselected items. So if an item is not selected, I think I want it to be light gray. Then the color, okay, I want it to be dark gray. Then the color remains white. The font color remains white. So this one too, without unselected, without data, I want the same effect. Then hover selected data. When I hover over it, I want it to change to this color. Then hover over unselected item with data. I want it to show the same color. Okay, so let me press on OK and see. Then hover over selected items without any data. I want the same effect. So OK to see. Now that we've designed we've applied the custom design, I need to select this, the slicer, and apply the design to it. Okay, so very beautiful. Oh, I think this is okay, so this is the design. right, this one. So I'll select it. So when you select rural, this one becomes light. Okay, right. But then you see that when you click on it, it filters only one portion of the data. It filters only this one because we clicked on this to insert the slider. But then I want to connect all the KPIs to, or all the the charts and the KPIs to this slider. So to do that, I'll just right click on it and come to report connections. So these are the various pivot charts that we have, or pivot tables that we have. So I'll just check all of them, and this will connect all the charts and the KPIs to the filter. I think I have to push the filters to this side. Yeah, right. I think this is better. This is better. Then I can leave. Yeah, this should be fine. So now when I click on rural, you see that all it applies. When I filter by rural, I get all records that corresponds to rural. When I click on urban, I get all values that corresponds to urban. So I can hold shift and click on both to select both, so that we get our total records back. All right, or you can right click and clear if there is any sort. When I sort by rural, I can right click and clear the filter. Okay, sure. So now let's also try to customize the timeline filter. So the timeline filter, you can use it to filter the dates, that's 2021 and 2023, but it also applies to only this. So I'll right click and choose report connectors or connections, then select all the pivot tables, so that when you filter by date, it applies to all the KPIs and the charts. So now if I filter by 2021, you see that it filters according to 2021. So there is a dynamic dashboard which is created with Excel and pivot table, or Excel, yeah, with pivot table. I think I'll push this here. The filters is supposed to be at one place. Okay, this, okay. Let me put it back here. No, let me put it here. Right. So I want to design or customize the time filter. So I'll select it. When you select it, you see that the timeline appears here. Click on it, go to timeline styles. You can choose any of the already existing styles, but I want to customize it. Okay, I think this color is nice, but I want the background to be black, so I can right click on it. Okay, this is not modifiable, so let me create a customized one. So new timeline style, then the whole body, I want it to be black. Okay, then I want selected block to be green, unselected block to also be dark ash, then selected time space, let me choose this color. Let's apply and see the effect. So I have to choose it to apply to it. Okay, so this is what we have. Then I think I'll modify it again. So right click, modify, change the header or the entire whole timeline, change the font color to white. Sure. Then the header title to, I want to change the font color to white. Okay, I think this is okay. All right, then these values to, okay, it's okay. So now I can filter based on the year. Right, so we've made the timeline also dynamic. So when I click on 2022, the records will be filtered based on 2022. Okay, then when I click on 2021 too, the records will be filtered based on 2021. So we now have a beautiful dynamic dashboard which is created with Excel, only Excel. So thank you for watching, and make sure that if you've not subscribed, you subscribe to this channel to support this project, and also share the channel for others to also benefit from this free tutorial. So see you in the next lecture.